What is happening, everybody? This is Bill, the Fox Body Phantom, and today we are up at a very unique event at Larz Anderson. So I saw this event come up. I wasn't sure what it was going to be. Bring a Trailer is sponsoring it. We'll go around and see some of the Bring a Trailer stuff. It's great. Like, I came up here with the Fox Body. It was packed. I ended up parking in the spectator area just because it was crazy to get in. I wanted to come and shoot some video. So we're going to walk around, share all the cool stuff with you today. I'm very excited. The only downside is it's the end of October. It's a little chilly, but the event itself is going to be incredible. So check out this very cool 914. This is the one with the flared fenders, the roll cage, the 6-cylinder. This thing is super cool. There's absolutely two stunning vintage Ferraris up here today. So this is at, again, the Larz Anderson Auto Museum, the oldest auto museum in the country. They have some incredible stuff. If you've never been in, please come in and check it out. It's amazing. We're going to start with Phil's 1973 Pontiac Trans Am 455 non-Super Duty car. 250 horse, 425 foot-pounds of torque. Phil got this car, got it in 2006, so 19 years ago. Bought it from the original owner. The original owner drove it for 3 years, raced it at the drag strip at Englishtown, ran in the mid-15s. He had just sat in his yard for like forever. He, like I said, got it in 73, put it away in 76, sat for 30 years until Phil got it. Phil did all the restoration work, all the paint work. The car is phenomenal. The thing I love about this is the originality. You know, we've got these epoxy style wheels, these honeycomb wheels, which are gorgeous. Everything's correct under the hood, the correct blue Pontiac paint. I saw all the primer on the car. You showed me the pictures. Everything's right to what Pontiac made. Now, this is an M24 speed car. So it is the manual. It does have the bigger motor. In 73, everybody was going away from the bigger motors. They wanted to go into the more emissions efficient stuff. Pontiac said the hell with that. We're gonna keep our Trans Ams as kind of our halo car. And you can see this car was very well optioned, $5,500. So kudos to you, Phil. This is a beautiful version of this car. I love the color combination in the red and yellow, and you did an incredible restoration on it. Beautiful car. All right, I knew we'd see some cool and different stuff up here today, and this is about as different as you're gonna see at one of these shows. 1988 Alfa Romeo Milano Verde. So this is the one with the more horsepower, 3-liter V6, 5-speed, 180 plus horse. This one is for sale. So if you are looking for something different, something Italian, that's kind of cool. I do love these aftermarket wheels. The interior is really sharp on these cars. I always thought these cars were just, the style was so unique. It kind of gave me a vibe of a cross between, you know, what they were doing with the BMWs and the VWs, right? You kind of almost have a little bit of that VW rear end and the Corrado or Sirocco. It's a really cool design, but, you know, in the Italian cars, you know, they were definitely a little more stylish. The front end looks really cool in this car. The Alpha badge is always beautiful. You can see, if you are looking to get something different, 978-387-7622. He's asking $18,500. Car has like 160,000 miles on it, but you can see it presents incredibly well. The interior is beautiful. It's super clean. And again, it's just so unique and different. I always like the Alphas. Again, they've always said if you love cars, you got to have an Alpha at one point in time in your life, but it's also like the ultimate driving car. The guys that love driving talk about Alphas all the time. This is a cool one, something you don't see all that frequently, so I wanted to share it with you. Walk down, there's a really cool row of Porsches, like a long row. So I'm just going to walk down and hit on a couple of them here on you. There's some really cool stuff. I love the wheels on this one, first of all. That's the first thing that drove me to it. We've got a couple of the classics here that are absolutely stunning.
I love our house, but I'm wicked. I feel like I'm...
You know, the Porsche guys are always interesting, right? There, you know, the stuff here is again beautiful. Again, Bring a Trailer did an incredible job. You can see, and again, this is all the 911s. And there is a clear delineation when you go from the air-cooled stuff to the water-cooled stuff as far as how people appreciate the cars. But man, if you take a look at this, my buddy Mike down in Nashville would be in heaven today. There's so much cool stuff here. And you can see as we kind of walk down, I mean, this is just car after car.
My dad passed when I got the truck. It wasn't even in the wheel. And he gets the truck.
So we've been at this show a lot. We've been to a bunch of shows this year, and this is, again, probably the best turnout this year between Cadillac Day, American Car Day, Corvette Day. This is incredible. Very cool. I wanted to share all those Porsches.
Where'd you find this?
So there's not much cooler ever than a Testarossa, except for maybe a yellow Testarossa. Never seen one. I've seen them in the white, I've seen them in the red, I've never seen yellow. Wow. This car just has such presence. We talk about those strakes in the doors, that tan interior. This is a V12 with a manual transmission. Absolutely very cool. And like I said, never have seen one in the yellow. Beautiful car. Guys, we're gonna do another walk down here. We'll try to hit, again, a few more stuff, but there's some crazy stuff up here. Wow. Someone's giving me grief for being quiet again when I'm walking, but I wanted to share a lot of this with you today. I'm going to try to go on the other side and hit a few more specific cars. But wow, this is crazy.
Oh, you do? Oh, very cool. Me and my buddy was
Got out of college, my first territory.
plus cars, so that's what I like.
Ian's 66 Mustang, and I'm shooting it for a couple of reasons. One is it's a fairly unique color in that silver frost. Two is it's actually the wheel covers on the car. So this car is a 289 C code car, 2-barrel C4 automatic. But what I like is just the honestness of this car. The paying tribute to what this car was, not what someone wanted it to be, which I always think is very cool on these. It's just a very pretty version of a 66, and again, a car they made a million of, but everybody wants to hot rod them up, put the different wheels on it, change the motor, put a 4-barrel on it. The fact that he's left it this original, right? So it's again 289, 2-barrel C4. This car isn't going to blow anybody away. It's like 220 horsepower. But it's a great cruiser. It looks great, and I love that he kept the original color on it in this silver frost. It just looks really cool on the car. So thanks for sharing it with us, Ian. I absolutely love the BMW 2002s. I think that they're super underrated. I actually think I saw this car on the highway a couple of days ago when I was coming back from work, and he was driving in the right-hand lane going like 50 miles an hour. But I was like drawn to the car. I think the style on this was so cool. As you think of like what BMW was doing, this was kind of their really first sporty sedan that they would have, or coupe, that the American public kind of fell in love with, right? So this is super historic from what BMW was doing. It was super important for these guys. But again, little 13-inch wheels, 4-speed car. I love the interior. I just think this style of interior is very cool, kind of the German version of the houndstooth, and just really simple, easy to use gauges. But this car was, like, from an engineering standpoint, was incredibly important for BMW, and I'm glad they're sharing it. I love it in this color. So every time I see a 2002, I'm always excited to share. I think they're such a cool car. So always share this is my favorite car of all time. I prefer the Gulf livery. I think that's the coolest version, but this is beautiful in the gray with the gray stripes. So it's like the tungsten with the gray. They talk about these cars again. I've talked about them a lot of times in these Ford GTs. Obviously the 550 horsepower supercharged V8, 6-speed manual transmission, these gorgeous wheels. They always talk about the 4-option cars. Now this one, you can see, this one threw me off for a second because I was like, does it have the painted calipers? But it actually does have the painted calipers, and it's the painted calipers to match the body color, which is super cool, right? So a lot of times when you think about the painted calipers, you're looking for the red, but one of the options on this was the painted calipers. The other was the stripes, the Macintosh stereo. The car is just absolutely stunning. Again, I think it's the best looking American car ever made. I think it's the second best looking car ever made after the Ferrari 288 GTO. I just think all of the body lines and the proportions are absolutely perfect on this car. As much and as cool as the 2017 is and how fast it is, like, aesthetically it's not the same. Now I will tell you, I had the very cool fortune of sitting in a Heritage GT this year. I am way too fat for this car. I'm just gonna be honest for you. Like, I do not fit in this car, but I would lose weight if I could win one of these, because this thing is absolutely incredible. It's just, when you sit in it, there's a sense of presence. It's just the coolest version of an American car I think ever made, and it's my all-time favorite American car. So I just talked about that Ford GT, and I said it's the second greatest looking car of all time after the Ferrari 288 GTO. I love that Ferrari made the 308 and the 328 kind of in that same vein of the 288. Now, again, it's not as wide, it's not as low, but man, this is a beautiful car. Now, these cars were super interesting. The 328 was the second iteration of this car, slightly larger motor, definitely a little easier to live with. Manual transmission car, gated transmission. I love these 5-star wheels. I think that Ferrari just did them like perfectly. And when you look at this transmission, so people love these cars. Now the reality is they're not incredibly fast by today's standard. They're just not. Like this car was 0 to 60 in around, you know, mid-5s. But man, aesthetically, this is like the best looking version. Like they just did a great job on this car. And if you're thinking about a beautiful Ferrari, like a 328 is absolutely the way to go. These cars have definitely come up in value recently. You know, 10 years ago, you could have got one of these for probably around 60 or 70. Now you're in the 6-figure range. You know, the downside to this car is probably still one of the most affordable Ferraris. You still have the challenge of, you know, the belt-out engine service. So the owner cost on these older Ferraris is a little bit challenging. But man, aesthetically, it's so hard to beat a 328, especially with these wheels. And again, the absolute right version. You got the Target top version on it, so the roof comes off. That tan interior, the gated shifter. Just an absolutely stunning version of this car. So I know I will never be able to afford a 288 GTO, but a 308 or a 328 is still on my bucket list because I think just aesthetically, it's stunning. Okay, so the next car I'm gonna shoot up here that's very cool is this 2015 Audi R8 V10 manual transmission car. Owner's owned it for 3 years. Love the color combination on it. You know, when these cars came out, they were super revolutionary, especially the first version that had that blade that went down the side. It just looked so cool. And then obviously it was featured in Iron Man. Like everybody loved this car. I think, again, if you're looking for a cool car that's attainable, that's, you know, it's and it's also reliable. You get, you know, the all-wheel drive capability, you get the reliability of an Audi, you get the V10. So you think about it, like this is essentially a Gallardo, and I actually think in better looking clothing, right? Like the Gallardo is gorgeous, but it's more like stare at me. Like I think this is super cool. Obviously the same motor as the Lamborghini. You do get the gated manual on this, which is also super cool. Like how cool is that? Beautiful interior, the Audi reliability. I think it's just a gorgeous car. This blue is a beautiful version of it, so I'm happy to share this one up here with you. And something crazy unique and different. 2000 TVR Tuscan. First year with TVR is when they actually built their own motors, manual transmission car. This car was just imported into the US, so right-hand drive. First year eligible. Beautiful car. Again, owner's asking $37,000 for it. So if you want to find something different, he's Jeremiah 207-596-0111. You can have a car that'll literally stop the show. There are so many cool cars here today. This car pulled in and all of us gravitated towards it. It's so unique and different, and you're never gonna see them. Again, for me, this is a car that I played with in, like, you know, Gran Turismo, right? I played on the video games. I never saw them in person, but it's absolutely stunning. Color's incredible, and again, for 37 grand, the wildest part on this car to me is the front end. These front ends are just insane. When you look at the way the lights were set up, just the style, it's how it's built into it. This is one of the most unique cars I think I've ever seen in person. And it lives up to the hype. You know, I expected this car when I saw it in my mind to be smaller. Like I think it physically seems larger than it is, but I get the opinion it's like a C4 Corvette. If I parked it next to something else, it probably wouldn't look all that big. But it has that presence, kind of like a Viper or a C4, where it seems longer and bigger than it is until you pull it next to another car. Color's incredible. Thank you for sharing it. Super cool, and again, something I've never seen in person before. So I felt pretty fortunate to get a chance to see one of these in person at the Newport Car Museum. This is the first time I've seen one out in the wild. And this is an absolutely incredible car, right? The V10 motor, the manual transmission. So this is the Porsche Carrera GT. I think the coolest feature on this car, I've told it to like a few different people, and I learned this a few years ago. I just thought it was so neat. So the center lock wheel setup on this is kind of cool, right? So they use a center lock, but to not confuse the driver's side and the passenger side, they use different colors, which you would never know. If you can't look at both cars, both at the same time, so it never seems off. But you'll see right here on the driver's side, it's red, and when we go over to the passenger side, it's blue. So you can see we're actually using a different color to not confuse it. This car has those incredible, you know, ceramic brakes. Again, the brakes alone were like a $10,000 or $15,000 option. I believe they're like $25,000 or $30,000 to replace. This is a $2 million car right now. But I always liked about it too was just the interior was really sharp on this car. They really used like that beautiful peanut butter leather color with a really nice like wood grain shift knob to kind of give it more of an upmarket look. And that absolutely incredible motor. So just an absolutely beautiful car, and I have never seen one out, like I said, out in the wild other than in one car museum before. As we're looking at super cool cars, guys, again, stuff that you'd never see outside, we also have this absolutely gorgeous Z8 BMW. This was the, you know, when they made this, there was the James Bond car. It had the V8 motor. It was, you know, a throwback to the, you know, the old styling on it. It's absolutely incredible. I learned a ton about this car watching Tyler Hoovie's channel. You know, Hoovie's had one of these for a while. And again, I've never seen one in person. You know, I think about the Z Roadsters they made, and they did a nice job, you know, taking this down to the 3 and 4 to kind of make a more attainable version for the public. But man, this car, again, we talked a lot about cars today that have presence. This is another car with just absolutely incredible presence.
This car, I'm going to put more.
So this is a cool car right here, 73 240Z. This is our partner we met at the Dick Shappy show, who also has the 427 2013 Corvette. This is such a neat car because of the history behind it. He's owned the car for over 30 years. This car is a Chevy V8 car, right? So he's owned it, like I said, he owned it when it was original. This has a T5 transmission, right? 355 rear end, 350, 350 Chevy V8, 325 horse. Car weighs like 2,700 pounds. Cruises all day at like 2,700 RPM. This is just such a cool car. And again, what I like about it is the history. We were just talking, I wish I had the discipline to keep a car as long as he had, to love the car, enjoy it. Thank you for sharing this one. You know, this is, I think, as cool as your Corvette. I love the color combo, and the fact that it's got the V8 is super cool. So thanks for sharing it with us. Guys, man, again, something I've never seen before, Di Tommaso Long Chomp. So this is a 75. It uses the same drivetrain out of the Pantera. So it's a 351 Ford Cleveland C6 automatic. But this is a front drive car. It was only ever sold in Europe. They only sold 400 of these over 10 years. Guys, first of all, not that I've never seen one of these before, I didn't even know this car existed before. Like, this is the first time I've ever even seen or heard of one of these cars. And, you know, I get a lot of people tell me, like, Bill, you know a lot about a lot of cars. I do. This one has me completely stumped because I've never seen one before. But I think that, you know, I saw the logo on it, so I saw the Di Tommaso logo, and I'm like, okay, I got to learn more about this car. And when I look at it, you know, I'm going to be honest with you, it kind of gives me a little bit of like that Maserati vibe from that same era, or Alpha vibe. It's a very cool looking car designed by Ghia Studios. Again, the Ford V8, Ford transmission, so you can work on it relatively easy. Only sold over in Europe, imported into here about a year ago by Gary. You know, I was asking the value on these. He said over in Europe they sell for like 50,000 euros and up. And because they're limited, they only made 400. There are different specs on this car. So there's like a GTS model, which has flared fenders. So he said, again, the prices can range like crazy, but man, thanks for bringing this, Gary, because again, we're never going to see this again. It is super cool. We're giving you stuff that we've never seen anywhere. We have a 72 Volvo wagon. This car was on front of me as I was driving up here today, and it was super cool. Again, I try to shoot stuff I haven't seen or haven't shot. And you guys know there's not a lot of stuff as I go to the shows that are kind of new to me. This is new to me again. And I don't know if these were very rare or not, but again, as I was pulling in, I just thought it looked cool. I love the body lines on it. It's just unique. So we have a very cool 67 Firebird convertible with a 326. Talked about this motor in the Le Mans a few times. I think this is one of the most underappreciated motors out there. Motor had good power, was very reliable, pretty fuel efficient, so I like this. Everybody wants the 400 cars, but I believe this is a 67 because of the no side markers. I think 68 got the side markers, so I think this is the first year. You got the chrome front bumper, the Pontiac wheels with the PMD center caps. This car new was $3,700 or $3,600. It is an automatic car, and it's just super sharp in the red. You know, I've talked about the Firebirds quite a bit. You know, it's crazy to me that these never took off in the same way that the Camaros did as far as value goes. I think they look better. I think they're super cool cars. Let me share one of the cooler Porsches up here today, this 86 turbo car. First year back in the US after a 5-year hiatus. Again, the owner made me significantly smarter on these, which I appreciate. I loved the wheels, which is what drew me to the car. He told me these are the roof wheels from back in that generation. If we all as kids knew these cars in the magazines, the roof made the Yellowbird, which was like the fastest car in the world at the time, and it was absolutely wild. These cars were called the Widowmakers, right? The turbos, they had this kind of like almost an on-off turbo switch. And we were just talking to a couple of turbo owners, like the key to this you had to learn is you did not step out of the accelerator mid-turn. If you step out of the accelerator mid-turn, the back end's gonna step out. If you don't do that, these cars are actually really fun to drive and they're super fast. 282 horsepower. We were joking about the rear spoiler. He hates the whale tail term, so I won't use it, but it is that kind of iconic spoiler. You can see the US spec rear bumpers, which had the slightly larger, you know, add-ons on the bumper to keep it, you know, more pedestrian safe. But this color is white gold metallic. So this car had a lot of really cool features. I was walking up to it. Car also has 130,000+ miles, so it's been driven. It's an absolutely stunning version of this 86 here, this 57 Chevy. Again, there's a ton of information on this car. Obviously, it's a NASCAR-inspired car. I don't know if it's actually was a real NASCAR car. This car is wild, though. It is a fuel-injected car. You can take a look all the way across. Under the hood is gorgeous. 283 horsepower. Manual car, side exhaust, Steelies, 3 on the tree, so manual on the tree. This thing is super cool. All right, guys, so something very cool. 1969 Charger 500. The Charger 500 was completely different than the other Chargers. This was designed to compete with NASCAR before they went to like the Superbirds. Now, you would have had the Daytona that came out, the wing car the same year, but this car was designed to be more aerodynamic. If you saw the front end of the Ford, like the Talladegas that were out at the time, that were super aerodynamic, this was kind of a idea to combat that. So instead of the grille that we were used to, they actually brought the headlights forward to try to make it more aerodynamic. And as we walk through on the car, you'll see they also made that back rear window flush. So the back rear window on these typically was concave, but they were a nightmare for, like, I know there was an issue with downforce with those windows. They were kind of lifting the back of the car up. They actually made this car to be a lot more aerodynamic, a lot more competitive for NASCAR, and they really smoothed everything out. What's interesting is if you just walk up to the car from the side, you don't notice much. And if you're not paying attention, you probably don't even notice that rear window. But that front end on this is so distinctive for a Charger. It's the only one that ever looked like that. I think it looks kind of cool and different. Now, I'll be honest, I probably prefer the original front end on the Charger, but that's me having some nostalgia from like the Dukes of Hazzard and things like that. But this is a beautiful version. Again, a car I have not seen in person before, so very excited to share this one with you. So again, a car I've read about, a car I've seen in magazines and articles, but one I have not seen in person, this gorgeous Singer Porsche. So these cars are basically taking air-cooled later edition 911s and retrofitting them with like 500 horsepower motors, making them kind of look more like the 70s style Porsches. They have this really cool filler cap in the front. They redo the whole suspension. This color combination is crazy on this car. It's beautiful. That rear spoiler is stunning on the car. I love the deep dish foot style wheels. You can see the vented rotors behind here, and they absolutely redo the interior completely. And again, it has this kind of retro feel, but it's retro in the best possible with these Recaros. We've got the divots in the seats, kind of like the Ford GT has. It's just an absolutely stunning version of a 911. And you know, we're kind of fortunate here in New England because of the time of year. I'm gonna shoot this video right here with, we can get the trees behind us. I mean, I don't know if you've seen a better looking shot, but look at that beautiful blue behind that tree that's just in full foliage bloom. It's just a phenomenal car, and I wanted to share it because again, I've never seen one in person. Amazing. There's so much incredible stuff here today. I love that Testarossa. We saw that TBR, the Carrera GT. But for my Phantom favorite today, I'm going to pick something that I think is really classy. It's something that I don't do a lot on this channel. I'm going to shoot this beautiful 1962 Mercedes 190 convertible. 4-cylinder car, 4-speed. It's an anthracite gray. We were just talking to the owner. He said it for just a short time, just a couple of years. It was fully restored in Latvia. It was a white car originally, but for me, again, I talk about presence on the cars, and this one, when I was walking up, just stuck out to me. You know, we were chatting about the 300s and the desirability of that. But this is a great driving car. He drove it up from the Cape, had it on the highway, said it was really comfortable, cruising, 3,500 RPM at, about 60 miles an hour. But then what I love about this is the lines on this car. How they built the lines into the fenders and the quarters. The interior is beautiful. Like, this car was so far ahead of its time aesthetically. And then I love looking at the inside of these. You think about, again, the opulence of Mercedes building a luxury car. I love the chrome touches. The leather is beautiful. My favorite thing on these old Mercedes always has been how delicate that shift lever looks to me. Every time I look at that, I can't imagine somebody driving that for 60 years and not breaking it, but they've always been reliable and durable. But every time I see it, I'm like, man, that looks so dainty and delicate in these cars. This is just a beautiful version of this car, so it is going to be my Phantom favorite. He's got the matching luggage in the trunk. Everything is super clean, so just a beautiful version of this 62 Mercedes convertible. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap up our show today. Thank you to Bring a Trailer. Thank you to Larz Anderson. I had no idea what to expect today, and this beat all expectations. We saw some stuff we've never seen before. That Singer Porsche, the TVR, that yellow, Testarossa, just amazing cars across the board. I got up here right before 9. I didn't even park the Fox Body in the show because I got here late. I expected maybe it might be a little light based on some of the other shows we did here this year, but they were packed and they had so much cool stuff. Guys, I appreciate you for checking out the channel so far. Please hit that subscribe button. We still have more shows coming up for at least 2 more weeks after this week, so we appreciate all of you, and I appreciate all the great conversation I got to have today. Talked to so many amazing people. I look forward to seeing all of you at additional shows coming up.